Have you ever been at the beach, felt that salty spray on your lips, and just thought, why? Why is the entire ocean so incredibly salty? Well, let's dive right into this fascinating mystery. It's a really great question, isn't it? You've got rivers and streams, all fresh water, constantly pouring into the sea. So what's the deal? Why isn't the lake they came from salty too? It seems a little weird, but the answer is actually an epic story about our planet. To really get how the ocean got its unique flavor, we need to check out its recipe. And this isn't something you can just whip up in an afternoon. We're talking about a process that's been simmering for billions of years. Okay, so get this. Way back in the beginning, Earth's water wasn't salty at all. Nope. The water that first got here, delivered by comets and asteroids, totally fresh. So, if we started with fresh water, where in the world did all this salt come from? It pretty much boils down to a simple three-step process. Just think of the rain, the rivers, and the volcanoes as our planet's very own team of master chefs. They've been working on this dish for a very long time. All right, ingredient number 1. When rain falls, it's not just pure water, it actually picks up carbon dioxide from the air, which makes it just a tiny bit acidic. We're not talking acid that would hurt you or anything, but it's just acidic enough that when it flows over the land, it starts to dissolve rocks, and in that process, it leaches out all sorts of minerals, especially a ton of sodium. Now for ingredient number 2, the spice. For this one, we have to go deep underwater. Down on the ocean floor, you've got all these hydrothermal vents and volcanoes just constantly pumping out gases, and one of those key gases is chloride, and it just dissolves right into the ocean. And this is where it all comes together. The sodium washing in from the land meets the chloride bubbling up from the volcanoes. They find each other, they bond, and boom, you get sodium chloride, which is literally the exact same stuff you sprinkle on your food. It's just table salt. Okay, but wait a minute. You might be thinking, if rivers are constantly dumping minerals into the sea, shouldn't the ocean just get saltier and saltier over time, right? Why isn't it just some kind of thick, rocky soup by now? What's putting on the brakes? Well, the answer is probably not what you'd expect. The secret hero in this story, the thing that keeps the ocean from becoming a dead, salty mess, is life itself. Yeah. All those little critters in the sea, they're basically the planet's chemists, working 24/7 to keep things in balance. It turns out, ocean life is kind of a picky eater. You see, rivers wash in all sorts of stuff like calcium and sodium, but marine organisms absolutely love calcium. They slurp it right up to build their awesome shells and skeletons, which takes it out of the water. But sodium? They pretty much just ignore it. So while the calcium gets used, the sodium just gets left behind, building up and up over millions and millions of years. So here's the big takeaway. The ocean's saltiness isn't some random accident. It's this incredible, delicate equilibrium, a beautiful dance between the geology of the land, the chemistry of volcanoes, and the biology of all the amazing life swimming around in it. And you know, this planetary recipe is so fundamental. Water, rock, heat. It really makes you wonder, could this be happening on other planets too? Let's zoom out a bit. When you think about it, when scientists are hunting for planets that could support life, what are they looking for? Water, a rocky surface, and an internal heat source, like volcanoes, the exact same ingredients. So yeah, it's a pretty safe bet that if we find an ocean on another world, it's probably salty too. And that, of course, leads to the most exciting question of all, right? If salty oceans might be common out there, and we know that saltiness and life are so deeply connected here on Earth, could those alien oceans be teeming with, well, aliens? It's the kind of thought that keeps astrobiologists up at night. But okay, let's bring it back home for a second, because while all this salt makes the ocean the perfect cradle for life, for us land dwellers, it creates a huge problem. So, just how much salt are we actually talking about here? Well, the total amount dissolved in our oceans is around 10 to the power of 19 kilograms. That's A1 with 19 zeros after it. I mean, that number is just mind-bogglingly huge. To try and put that into perspective, imagine you could magically pull all that salt out of the water and spread it evenly over the entire surface of the Earth. It would bury everything, every continent, every city, under a layer of salt about 7 meters or 23 feet thick. That is taller than a 2-story building. And here's exactly why we can't drink it. It all comes down to a process called osmosis. See, seawater is way, way saltier than the fluids in your body. So if you drink it, the super high salt concentration actually starts pulling the water out of your cells. It's the exact opposite of hydrating. It causes severe and even fatal dehydration. But hey, we humans are pretty clever. We've developed amazing technology called desalination, which basically uses superfine filters to separate the salt from the water. It takes a ton of energy, but it's a literal lifesaver for millions of people in dry parts of the world, from deserts all the way to research bases in Antarctica. So, the next time you're near the ocean and taste that salt in the air, remember the incredible ancient story it tells. A story of rain and rocks and volcanoes, all held in a perfect balance by life itself. This amazing recipe made our world possible. And it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other cosmic recipes are out there, still waiting to be discovered?